evening and welcome on RTD's English News editions. The top stories are: disappearance of Sheikh Abdi Maalin Aden, the farewell of the head of state and his close friends. The Prime Minister Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed has chaired this morning the celebration of the Entrepreneurship National Day.
Thanks for joining us on RTD's newsroom. We are going to start our news tonight with this obituary. Sheikh Abdi Maalin has been recalled to God this morning in Djibouti following a short stay in the Djibouti Sudani Omar Hassan al-Bashir Military Hospital. This great ulama, known in all the continents of the nation, was appreciated for his outspokenness. He was a personal friend of the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh. The head of state has not failed to pay him a last tribute by taking part this morning in the funeral at the cemetery of Peka 12. A large crowd gathered in addition to the head of the state of many officials, and anonymous attended the burial of this great ulama of the country. Following to this painful disappearance, the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, has sent a message of condolence to the friend. The head of state has praised the memory of the late Abdi Maalin, one of the major figures of the country's religious leaders. In his tribute, the head of state has qualified the deceased as a patriot who has dedicated an important time of his life to the preservation of national unity and to the strengthening of social cohesion.
The late Abdi Maalin was a part of the most virtuous religious who have had the reflex to place the national interest above personal interest and selfish, has indicated the head of state. His will long remain etched in the memories of the Djiboutian for its accessibility. His humility and modesty, has also written the head of state. He has formulated his saddened condolence to the family and his friends of these religious men. The late Abdi Maalin was in charge of an important family and was the Imam of Salman bin Abdulaziz Mosque. The First Lady and President of the UNFD, Khadra Mohammed Haid, has also joined the head of state, present her most sincere condolence and sympathies to the family of Sheikh Abdi Maalin. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
And now let's tell you the biography of Sheikh Abdi Maalin. Sheikh Abdi Maalin Aden was born in 1959 in Diridawa, in Ethiopia, where he made his first studies at the Islamic school Sheikh Umar to Diridawa. After his studies, he embarked his career as teacher to the Islamic school in the neighborhood for Inqar, where he taught the Holy Quran. He subsequently became one of the first teachers of the Islamic Institute of Saudi Arabia. He is named Qadi of Djibouti before occupying the office of public prosecutor at the core of the Sharia. Sheikh Abdi Maalin leaves behind him 2 widows, 7 children, 2 grandchildren. We pray the Almighty to have mercy on his soul and welcome him in his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
The President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, sent today a message of condolences to his Turkish counterpart Tayyip Erdogan following the terrorist attack directed yesterday evening against this country and having caused the deaths of 28 people as well many injured. In his messages, the head of state has condemned the heinous act, barbaric and cowardly, and requested that the expression of his solidarity and compassion should be extended to the families, relatives and friends of the victims. I form the wish for a speedy recovery to the wounded, has also written the head of state Ismail Omar Guelleh, indicating that the people and the government of Djibouti join him to express their sympathy to the sister and friend nation of Turkey in this terrible ordeal. The repeated acts in recent months that target Turkey are the fact of hostile environment with highly significant development momentum undertaken in this brother country, noted the head of state, calling it the perpetrators and their partners of this terrorist act who are agents of the service of illegitimate and criminal ideals.
Always on the national news, the Prime Minister Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed has chaired this morning at the Palace of the People the ceremony of celebrating the National Day of Entrepreneurship. Various lessons are to be drawn from the speeches that have punctuated the event. The first is that the youth in Djibouti, and especially the young students, embody our future. It constitutes the first wealth of our country, or the urgency of releasing the enormous potential that our less than 35 years old represent. The event has gathered several members of the government, such as the Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Nabil Mohammed Ahmed, the Minister of the Economy and Finances, Mr. Ilyas Moussa Douali, the President of Commerce Chamber, Yusuf Moussa Douali, parliamentarians, representative of the diplomatic corps accredited in the country, as well as students of the university. Let's recall that this important event is intended to put the entrepreneurship at the heart of the national debate.
The purpose is to ensure the courage of young people to take the relay, to become future entrepreneurs, to take the risk and have the relational capacity and spirit of competitiveness. In addition, the resident representative of the World Bank, Hamazara Fatou, has highlighted that she welcomes more to take part in these events intended to put entrepreneurship at the heart of the national debate. Entrepreneurial activities are essential for the continuity of the private sector dynamism in order to promote competition and development. She has continued. On his part, the President of the Commerce Chamber, Yusuf Moussa Douali, stated that entrepreneurship is the action to create the wealth or the employment by the creation or the resumption of a company. An entrepreneur is therefore a person who engages in an effort to transform its ideas and innovation into economic asset. It's clear that the whole world can become entrepreneurs, but only the good entrepreneurs are aware of the success and comes to obtain the fruits of their investment, he said.
Still in this event, according to the Minister of the Higher Education, Dr. Nabil Mohammed Ahmed, the entrepreneurship activities has its role to play, like creating jobs and contributing to the economic development of the country. There is no substitute for the hard work when it comes to becoming a successful entrepreneur. Most of the people choose the most simple and rapid solution when it comes to work, he said. If you want to have success, you should devote to the persistence, productive work, the leadership and the rational management of your time, he continued. The competition is everywhere. In business, it is the act of survival. If you can mark your presence in the market, you differentiate yourself from your competitors and to surpass your competitors by providing a product with the best quality ratio price, your chances of being an entrepreneur to success will be much larger. Play to win, but never sacrifice your integrity for the good of a few bills, the minister concluded. As for the Minister of the Economy and Finances, Mr. Ilyas Moussa Douali, has not failed to mention and put the emphasis on the importance and the crucial role that an entrepreneur plays within the country. He has also put the emphasis on people who have succeeded in their life and who are today an example for the future of young people.
And in his speech, the Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed has highlighted the important role that entrepreneurs play within the country, and that the development of the country largely depends on the effort consented by the latter. To become an entrepreneur is not an easy thing, he said. Indeed, it must be a great motivation and a complete determination, because it asks for a hard work, much sacrifice, dedication, and perseverance. It's a profession where the risk of bankruptcy is very present, and moreover, the vast majority of entrepreneurs fall in their first project, he continued. The Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed has indicated that the leader of the government requests always with more insistence that young entrepreneurs, young people in search of jobs, the young student or young employees to be able to take over the development of our country by participating actively, as well this day of meeting between public actors responsible for promoting activities and a part of the youth ready to engage and take a risk to participate in the economic and social life of the country, characterize well the President's willingness to always go further in the development of the country. We know perfectly, he said, well, that entrepreneurship will not grow because the administration will impose that it must develop. But we also know he has started that the administration must lift the locks which hamper the development that you want, and it's only the potential young entrepreneurship who could better guide us, because what's sure that the creation of small business will be much more beneficial for the employment that of the constitution of major monopolistic enterprise, has concluded the Prime Minister.
After the interventions of the ministers, the entrepreneurship activities conducted in Djibouti, and the intervention of the director of the ODPIC and coordinator of FEMCOM, Ulufa Ismail Abdo, and several emblematic figures of female entrepreneurship under our sky took place. Various presentations of tax facilities devised of the government have been made by the Minister of Budget. Testimony of private operators, testimonies of youth club who have attracted the attention of the young students present at the People's Palace. On the other hand, it was the intervention of Mr. Ben Kubazek who in its intervention has not failed to emphasize the importance of being motivated by the desire to help, to improve and transform the society, the environment, the educational system and the economic conditions. As for Mr. Shanta, the chief economist of the MENA region, to the World Bank, took the floor to qualify and put the emphasis on the moral concerns that make a good leader and entrepreneur. He has, by the same opportunity, underlined that the state must do everything to support young entrepreneurs to go to the front, to take risks, and to overcome the event of the bankruptcy in business. As well, during this forum, various exchanges occurred. The first related to the noble struggle of Djiboutian women who have conquered the past decade a place of choice in the socio-economic fabric of the country. Several of them have been able to impose within the local business community with male majority. Mrs. Ulufa Abdo Ismail has also highlighted the integration of the gender dimension in the process of economic transition in Djibouti. The approach is to take seriously. It reflects at least the existence of a policy that will aim to promote female entrepreneurship in our country, she said.
This even with no images, the Premier is informing all applicants of jobs that their deposit folder must be carried out directly with the National Employment Agency Training and Professional Insertion, known as ANEFIP, which is the main component of the collection of applicants required for employment. It's in the desire to respond effectively to the demand of the unemployed and follow their files. We recommend now to address this agency that accompanies the job seekers in the professional insertion. Also, the Prime Minister indicates that the government will spare no effort to stem the tide of unemployment and find adequate solution to the insertion of young people without employment.
The Minister of Higher Education and Research, Dr. Nabil Mohammed Ahmed, has signed this morning with Dr. Mohammed Karakay, Rector of the Technical University of Istanbul, a framework convention defining the relations of assistance and cooperation between the University of Djibouti and the Technical University of Istanbul. This convention has also been initiated by the President of the University of Djibouti, Mr. Dr. Jama Mohammed Hassan, as well as the Embassy of Turkey in Djibouti. The convention established the modalities of cooperation between the two institutions. The two parties have established a program of common work in the areas of education and training of engineers and technicians, that they are acting in new technology of information and communication, telecommunication as well, the civil engineering, the logistics, and the chain of transport. The Technical University of Istanbul thus supports the University of Djibouti in the proper functioning of the engineering field. The Rector of the Technical University of Istanbul had started on Tuesday a few days of work mission in order to conclude this agreement. He was at the head of a delegation composed of several of his closest collaborators. At the end of the signing ceremony, the two parties welcomed the conclusion of this agreement, which strengthens relations of cooperation between the Republic of Djibouti and Turkey. The ceremony is completed by delivery of few gifts to the Turkish officials.
Still on the national news, a signing ceremony of the official document attesting to the handing over of the equipment and medical equipment was held this morning at the Ministry of Health. Details in this report. A signing ceremony of the official document attesting to the handing over of the equipment and medical equipment was held this morning at the Ministry of Health, where the three partners, Djibouti, represented by the Minister of Health, Dr. Qasim Essaq Osman, the World Health Organization by its representative in Djibouti, and Japan by the Ambassador of Japan in Djibouti, Mr. Tatsuo Arwai, have initialed the document. Then the top responsible have moved in a warehouse located in the Picadus for the transfers of drugs and equipment to the Ministry of Health. This important donation is composed of drug, mosquito nets, in order to combat malaria, analysis product and laboratory diagnosis, 150 electronic tablets for the collection as well the transmission of data, and 2 vehicles for the activities on the ground. The total amount of this donation is 460 million Djibouti francs. It was granted by the Japanese government and sent to the Department of Health through the World Health Organization. In addition to the Ministry of Health was present the Secretary of State for the National Solidarity, the President of the Commune of Balbala, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, and its close collaborators. The 3 responsible have highlighted the exemplary nature of this perfect cooperation between the UN agency and the 2 governments such as Djibouti and Japan. The ambassador of Japan pointed out that the number of cases of malaria has not increased significantly in Djibouti. He said, "I'm honored to be able to take part at this ceremony of equipment remission. This donation of equipment, such as mosquito nets, medicines, tablets, and other, is part of the project funded by the Japan government and put in place by the World Health Organization. The objective of this project is to strengthen the means of surveillance and protection against outbreak, including malaria. That is why the government of Japan has decided after the donation of the past year to make a new contribution of 417 million Djibouti francs in order to further consolidate the efforts of the government of Djibouti in its anti-vector control. This project, he said, also includes the training of the staff of the health ministry." For his part, the representative of the World Health Organization did not fail to thank the government of Japan through its ambassador for the support, first to his organization and to the Republic of Djibouti. This donation, he said, of medicines allows people against the bite of mosquitoes that transmit malaria, and laboratories materials have been delivered, he said. All this is entered in the project of the support of the government of Japan, and I would like to thank its ambassador, he said. And in his word of thanks to the Japanese government and the World Health Organization, the Minister of Health, Dr. Qasim Isaaq Osman, has stressed in his side that the President of the Republic, head of the government, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, has made health one of his priorities. In the light of the events, he said, which are happening and those in progress, such as the opening of hospitals in the capital and in the region, as well the series of the convention signed with the Global Fund for the development of an amount of 6 million Djibouti francs for the 3 disease. The year 2015, he said, has begun well for my department. As you can see, the President has won his bet and remains for us to put it to good use. So, I'm committed, he said, Mr. Ambassador, to assume my responsibility. At last, I would like to renew my deep thanks to the Embassy of Japan, the government of Japan, as well the representative of the World Health Organization. The government of Japan was still on our side, he said, to provide its unwavering assistance, and I'm convinced that this will not be the first nor the last.
In the framework of the Technical Vocational Baccalaureate Fields Reform, 4 days training of trainers workshop has been closed today at the Industrial and Commercial High School, also known as LEEC. The Director General of the Technical Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Abdul Qadir Hamad, who has chaired the closing of this training workshop, has in particularly emphasized on the entrance of this training session, which aims to increase the level of knowledge and mastery of teachers on the new repository of training arising from the reform of the vocational baccalaureate different streams. During this session, the trainers have put the emphasis on the ownership by the teachers of the new training courses contents proposed in the different curricula of the professional baccalaureate. In this sense, the responsible for the training have made the tour of the curriculum, programs and diplomas and certifications in each of the streams of the vocational baccalaureate. The teachers have benefited from the opportunity to develop their knowledge and increase their mastery of the new provisions in the repository of training for best implementation practices in classes.
In the framework of the evaluation mission of the micro dam impact on the agricultural lands of Antar and the Merjog localities carried out by the Directorate of the Agreed Work of the Agricultural Department, an assessment mission has therefore undertook studies of the micro dam's impact on the agricultural lands following torrential rains. Let's watch it. As you may know, Antar locality was confronted with a real pre-assembly of salted water as a result of the recurrent drought which is facing the area related to the climate change. This has driven, therefore, the abandonment of agricultural lands in the coastal areas. However, the mobilization of surface water through the micro dams has allowed the rehabilitation of storm tablecloth, which means putting an end to the problem of the level rise of the water in the wells, the improvement of the quality, and the decline of the bevel saltwater. The recovery in agricultural activities in the area, such as the installation of the new agricultural lands and the work of extension agricultural lands initiated by the young graduate. During this mission, one of the customary leaders of the area gave us his thought. He said, "My name is Ali Hassan Jama, nicknamed Ali Koka, and I'm part of the owners of agricultural lands of the locality of Antar in the region of Arta, and as you may see, I find myself on the inside of the groundwater well in my garden, which measures 17 meters. As well, the length of these wells causes problems, and the engine generators are no longer able to escalate the water at the surface. We therefore urge the government to increase the number of micro dams. At the moment we have 3 micro dams, and we want to have even more so that we can work on our agricultural lands in terms of generating profit. And among other grievances, we would like to ask our President Ismail Omar Guelleh to install in this locality solar panels to finally put an end to this situation. The inhabitants of Antar locality are glad of the studies on micro dams made by the Ministry of Agriculture through the Directorate of the Great Work. The direction of the Great Work undertakes to continue this type of assessment in the areas of Boulay, Faradil and Jester.
In Arta, the prefecture of the region has proceeded today the distribution of voters' cards in the presence of the President of the Regional Council, Mr. Ahmed Dirar Al-Dawa. For this occasion, the prefect of the region of Arta, Mr. Abdullahi Dirar Okiye, has launched an appeal to all the inhabitants of the region of Arta to come to recover their voter cards in order to pay their citizenship duties. In addition, he reminded that these cards will be available in all the sub-prefectures, such as the sub-prefecture of Damirjog and that of Karta, as well as the prefecture of the principal place. Note that this first day of distribution, more than 200 people have obtained their electoral card.
In our sports news now, the Djiboutian athlete Ayaan Le Suleiman has boosted the world record of the 1,000 meters yesterday evening at the indoor meeting in Copenhagen, Denmark. Ayaan Le Suleiman began his 2016 indoor season, an important statement when he won the 1,000 meter to the Global Galen of Stockholm in a new time of 2 world record indoor. 2014 indoor world champion has beaten the previous world record of 2 minutes 14 seconds by Wilson Kipkeeper of Denmark in 2000. Suleiman won just behind Peacemaker Brand in the 500 meters for a subdivision of 1 minute. Well on his way to a world record piece, Suleiman closed for a time finishing of 2 minutes 40 seconds, which was full 3 seconds faster than run-up Chimène Kuipers of the Netherlands. Suleiman intended to break the record of the world when he said to the media at the press conference before the competition that he believes that he was capable. "I'm ready," he said now. "I want to get the world record and I can do it this time. After that I'm going to the indoor world championship to Portland. I'm not sure that I will do the 3,000 meters or 15 meters, but it will probably be the 1,500 meter," he added.
The National Youth Game still continues, this time concerning the athletics for 100 meters girls race. The young Habsa Daoud of Ali Sabih, with a time of 14 seconds and 8:82, has won the first place. In second it by Arafah Mohammed from Ali Sabih with 14 seconds and 90 milliseconds. Sirat Khalif ranks third for the Balbala Kamin. Among the boys, Abbas of Ali Sabih came at the fourth place with a time of 12 seconds, followed by the second place for Aden Khair of Ali Sabih with 12 seconds and 8. Suleiman of Balbala obtaining the third place. In the view of the result of this final is to recognize that the region of Aska has previously the best national athletes of the race.
Always in sports, and the result of the table tennis finals that have been held yesterday afternoon at the Goulet Stadium are for the girls. The first place went to Jum'a Ali Gida from Tajura, second place Nasima Mahmoud from Balbala, and the third place to Dayiba Hamoud from Bulaus. As for the boys, Ramadan Roble of Bulaus won the first place, where he has been second by also from the same neighborhood Wabiri Abdu, and the third place returns to Abdul Qadir Abdullah from Dakhil.
Concerning the operations of maritime surveillance in the national territorial waters, a team of the Coast Guard in Djibouti has intercepted in the night of December 16 to 17 5 Yemeni boats in illegal fishing activity carrying hundreds of kilos of fish. 31 members of the Yemeni crews illegally staying in their country were arrested during this operation. The Coast Guard continues its efforts to put an end to the activities of these traffickers who plunder a huge amount of our fishery resources. The investigation was entrusted to the Brigade of Research into Investigations and Judicial Affairs of the Coast Guard, and these individuals will be brought to justice and their boats will be seized and immobilized at the fishing port waiting for a decision from the justice.
In this obituary, we inform you the dates of Mr. Ali Mohammed Darar, also known as Ali Sahel, occurred on Tuesday, February 16 in a hospital in Istanbul. Mr. Ali Mohammed Darar was born in 1923 in Djibouti and was a member of the First Territorial Assembly in 1957. A father of the late Mohammed Ali Mohammed, former minister, who died in 2012. He leaves behind him 2 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
In this documentary and on the news outside the country, research findings indicate that human resource is the foremost and major wealth of a nation among the so-called resources of a given country. It is also said to be the base for other resources if properly managed and utilized in different development contexts of a country. It is in this optic that the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam has been built. This ambitious project is achievable because the government and the people of Ethiopia have drawn unlimited focus upon all aspects and using all phases for its construction. Saeed Mohammed for more details.
The cornerstone of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam was laid by the great leader, His Excellency Mullah Zeinawi, in April 2012 in Gumu State. Being the emblem of Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, the construction giant dam across the Blue Nile River has created the spirit of yes we can and the winning psychology in the hearts of all Ethiopians. Following the disclosure of the construction of this historical projects, Ethiopian from far and wide as well as the diaspora from all corners of the world have expressed their passionate and extraordinary support for the dam. This has been manifested in practical participation like buying bonds, financial and material donation, and through active participation in the different resource mobilization programs as well. The diaspora who reside in different parts of the world have so far bought a bond worth $30 million, or which is approximately equal to 600 million Ethiopian birr, in this bond market, which is prepared for the construction of the GERD. Today, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam has reached its vital construction chapter by being constructed according to the planned time schedule, clearly due to the dedicated political leadership of the government and the rigorous participation of the nation, nationalities and people of Ethiopia, as well as the vital contribution of the diaspora. The support of the diaspora toward the construction of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam should be taken as a swift response given to the national development call of Ethiopia. Therefore, asking ourselves the golden brilliant question, what I have done for my country today, and giving practical response Let us come together to the support of the irreplaceable motherland. Not only success, glory, and happiness, but also misery is suitable and bearable to one's own country.
And to finish this edition, David Cameron, the British Prime Minister, is poised to announce the in-out vote, most probably for June 23. But first, he needs to secure an EU reform deal dubbed a new settlement for the UK. The political crunch point is a Brussels summit of 28 EU leaders on Thursday. Reports.
A Brexit or no Brexit, that is the issue at the heart of a crunch summit in Brussels. This Thursday and Friday, the EU leaders will try to strike a deal on reforms demanded British Prime Minister David Cameron. But there are divisions. It seems the EU and the UK are on the edge. We don't have a plan B, we have a plan A. Now, Britain will stay in the EU as a constructive and active member, said Jean-Claude Juncker, the EU Commissioner President. Martin Schulz, European Parliament President, has added, very clearly the EU has never been in such a dramatic situation as this week. The risk of a breakup is real because the process is indeed very fragile. Handle with care. What is broken cannot be mended. Donald Tusk, European Council President, told reporter. Britain's demand for more power to block EU legislation has gained support from other bloc members. It wants a red card system to scrap and to veto unwanted directives. But there's opposition to Britain's push to opt out of the EU funding ambitions to ever closer union, which fears it could derail the integration process. London also wants measures to ensure that further financial union cannot be demanded of non-Eurozone members. David Cameron has his work cut out to do the deal he wants, one he could use to push for continued EU membership in a referendum. Otherwise, that much talked about Brexit could become a reality.
So that's it for tonight's news. Thank you for your attention, and the program still continues on RTD.